So now we're going to jump into COINage magazine in 1975, and this is from January. And I've got all the whole set, because to me that's important, because gold was just now coming onto the scene where people could buy it, and for some reason all these gold certificates started popping up too. Okay, so we're going to look and spend a lot of time in 1975 to perhaps the point of boredom, but I believe that this is important for this presentation. Legalization brings a new era of coin collecting. Oh yeah, they're preparing for it now. Now everybody can buy gold. Gold ownership was placed off limits to U.S. citizens on April 5th, 1933, when President Franklin Delano Roosevelt issued an executive order halting production of gold coins, barring the hoarding of gold, and requiring Americans to sell all their gold to the Treasury Department. Now, in 1975, they were a little bit more, in COINage magazine, they were a little bit more accurate on what was going on there. To sell all their gold to the Treasury Department. Collector coins and jewelry were exempted from the ban, but millions of Americans, through fear or ignorance, divested themselves of their gold coins too, and more than $1 billion worth in terms of face value ended up in Uncle Sam's melting pots. In the melting pots, we're going to see how many of these from before 1933, we're going to see how many of these gold coins ended up in the melting pots. That's where we're headed. And here we're talking about some of later the restrictions were greatly eased. Technically speaking, Americans were permitted to own only rare and unusual gold coins. Well, we're going to look at these rare and unusual gold coins. In practice, though, Treasury officials made no distinction between rare and common coins. Huh? Well, this was after everybody had turned their gold coins in and their gold bullion in. This is after the fact, as long as they were issued before the date of the ban. Well, before the date of the ban, after the ban, it would have only been foreign coins that would have been banned, correct? Well, yeah. And in time, the rules were relaxed to the point where Americans could own virtually every gold coin issued before 1960, and quite a few issued thereafter as well. Well, then why put it in there? Why put the date 1960 in there? Huh? If there were no American coins stamped out between 33 and 60, why even mention it? I'm just asking. Comes from page 25. To these amounts, of course, the middleman then will add their own fees. Now they're talking about how people are going to be purchasing so much gold. There's going to be a rush. They're expecting a rush on gold. So the cost to the customer figures to be roughly 8 to 10% over bullion value. So, and that's pretty much what happened, is when you buy gold, you're going to pay 8 to 10% over bullion value. And if you turn around and sell it at a different place the same day, you're going to be selling it for 10% less. Spot doesn't mean anything when you're buying gold. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Now this is still in January of 1975. I'm going to be showing this. Now they went to get the opinions of certain big-time coin dealers to see what they had in mind for a forecast concerning gold and gold coins, etc., etc. And here we have right here, for the first time in 40 years, Americans will be allowed to own gold in any form, assuming all goes as planned. Yeah. What effect will this have on gold coins? Some say they will skyrocket in value. and others say the bottom will fall out. Probably neither one will be correct. More than likely, the price of gold will fluctuate between $160 and $200 per ounce. For a short period of time, it could go higher. But after all the initial excitement settles down, so will the price. Bullion gold coins, of course, will follow these fluctuations. Many new gold items will hit the market: metals, ingots, wafers, etc. We do not recommend the purchase of gold items of this nature. To buy these in small quantities will be expensive, and they will have little or no numismatic value. Well, I didn't think that they were supposed to have any numismatic value in the first place. According to some of the experts, scarce and rare gold coins, however, are another story. Many of these coins have been neglected for years. Well, yeah, like 40, and only recently have they been enjoying a boom market. This boom will continue through 1975, and we will look for record-breaking prices on many of these coins, especially choice, brilliant, uncirculated, and proof specimens. Next comes from page 112. As to 1975, this is another guy's opinion. As to 1975, we can look forward to more of the same, I'm sure. U.S. and foreign gold coins will be the leaders, together with early U.S. type coins of superb quality, or very close. We already have a $300 U.S. $20 gold coin, and perhaps it shall be a $400 gold coin by the end of the year. So what are we buying? What were they buying? Or were they buying the coin, or were they buying the gold? Same page. All the series of U.S. gold coins are in demand, and this demand shall continue through all gold rarities such as $4 gold, $50 gold, and territorial gold of all types. I believe these will achieve even higher record values. I do expect the $4 gold coin proof will be $25,000, and also the Panama Pacific $50 gold coins to reach $25,000 in 1975. Okay? We're laying a foundation from 1975 here. Gold bullion, now check this out now, gold bullion can always be called back by the government at a set price, whereas a gold piece cannot, since it is a collector's item. Being in business to make money, we will, however, handle the gold bars for investors. Next, we're going to look at we're going to take a side trip from the gold now and look at the great coin gap of 1975. And I'm doing this to show you how the U.S. Mint has, for years, done things that you're probably not aware of here. Okay? Now, this will not mark, this comes from page 94. This will not mark the first time that United States coinage was not dated with its year of manufacture, nor will it mark the initial instance of a coinage date being omitted for a particular denomination. Well, what does that mean? That means that the U.S. Mint just pretty much stamps out coins, no matter what year it is. They'll date it whatever they want. That's right. And there it is, right there. And then we're going to look at some instances where they did just the same, where they're stamping coins out with fake years on them, fake dates. This comes from page 96. Utilizing the language of the Coinage Act of 1965, Secretary-Treasurer Henry Fowler froze the dates on 1965 coinage and continued to produce it in mammoth proportions into the next calendar year. There you go. Yep. The This comes from 96 also. Ultimately, it led to the decision to continue the 1974 date past the first of the new year, ignore the 1975 date in its entirety, and begin to produce the new bicentennial coins with the 1776, 1976 on the statutory date mandated July 4th, 1975. The rationale for this was multifold. Proof and uncirculated coin production takes most of the year for the mint to accomplish, even under normal circumstances. So there you have it. Now I'm establishing that the mint isn't always honest. In 1972, the first raising gold bullion came, and it didn't cause too much of a stir price-wise. Well, I wonder if it being illegal to own had anything to do with that. Possibly, you reckon? You'll note that most of these gold pieces started to jump $50, $75, $100, $200, $300 in 1973. Yet the intrinsic value in these pieces only increased by about $15.50. Whoa! You can hear 1971, 1973 for the $5 piece. What? It took these modest rises in the price of gold and silver bullion to awaken the coin investor. What? I thought we were investing in gold, but all of this is illegal to do. You got me. As I have said, rare gold and silver coins enjoyed far less popularity in the years prior to this new interest in bullion values. Okay. Whoosh. Now, same page. We're going to look at something here. How numismatic and intrinsic values have reacted to the changing price of gold bullion. Okay, coins to bullion. Coins to bullion. Uncirculated $5 gold pieces. Okay, we're supposed to only be over $15, with $15 over bullion value. Look, at sure is a bunch of them here, isn't there? Yep. Look at the year here. Look at all these years, from 67 to 74, and we're going to notice that here, the 1908 S, 1350 right here, 2900 here, 1750 here. Yep, that New Orleans 1909. Does that look like it's $15 over the face value, or the bullion value? I'm just asking, because we're going to look at these guys here. Picking up on page 25 now. I've got to go back and forth in the magazines page-wise, because the articles bounce all the way through the book. Gold, the bars are down. If you think the picture is confusing now, we've only just begun. Yes, sir, we've just begun. 1975 in February. Now we're going to look at this right here on the same page, 25. Gold ownership by American citizens moved closer to reality in late December 1974, but it was unclear as to whether or not the government viewed the resumption after nearly half a century of prohibition as the opening of a treasure chest or of Pandora's box. Ooh. Page 28, same article. Gold clauses were declared to be against public policy and unenforceable in June of 1933 by a special act of Congress, and the exact wording of the removal of the ban, specifically negating all prior regulations and laws, was expected to cause the abrogation of the provisions that prevented calling for payments in gold. Next item comes from the same page, and this was issued by the White House, 14 planks, or for what they call the golden rules here, of what people should be aware of when they start buying gold. And I'm not going to read all these, I'm just going to scroll them down, but this was issued by the government, Gerald Ford's White House. And these 14 planks were posted and printed, published, everywhere. Yep. Beware, buyer beware. Same page. One problem that may arise with private gold ownership is that there is a high demand by American citizens. The domestic supply might be insufficient to meet the demand. That would cause gold to be imported from abroad and might seriously weaken our deteriorating balance of payments. Well, I guess it's going to cost money to do that, isn't it? And here we go, meet Secretary Simon here. We're going to show his brilliancy. Recognizing that possibility, Secretary Simon ordered the 2 million ounce sale of gold. A secondary purpose of the sale may have been to depress the world price. For that addition to the world market taken from the 276 million troy ounce U.S. government stockpile is a sizable one. Okay, that averages out to be what, over 9,400 tons in regular pounds of gold, which I believe that the U.S. stockpile would be far, far greater. Far, far greater. Next item here, we're going to look at it, just scrolling down a bit. Auction of the gold from the government's Fort Knox holdings will be in 400 ounce units, and at current market prices, that represents a winning bid of $80,000 per silver block. Far more than the average investor will spend. I would say, not knowing the stability of it, that just might, Here we go again with Secretary Simon recognizes that gold demand might initially exceed even this auction offering plus available domestic production. Consequently, he urges that it be made clear that the law allows the same standby authority for the government to impose a prohibition on gold imports and exports as we have with respect to other commodities. Now here we have Secretary Simon. It is apparent, however, that Secretary Simon is as concerned as Dr. Burns is about the potential consequences of private gold ownership. He believes that the attraction will simply not be great. Investors will realize that the storage of gold is burdensome and expensive, Simon explains. It earns no interest and has no liquidity in the sense of an assured price when it must be sold. In other words, you're going to get taken to the cleaners when you try to sell it. Additionally, Simon notes all U.S. citizens have been able to invest in gold legally, in gold coins, and at only a slight premium over its bullion value. Wait a second. Just a couple of pages ago, or items ago, I showed you where $5 gold pieces were selling for almost $3,000. Some coins have a rare numismatic value and sell at a high premium over their bullion value. Well, doesn't that negate this statement here? I'm just saying, what planet did this go? Evidently, Mr. Simon didn't read very much of the coin magazines, did he? Simon's contention is that percentage-wise, the number of people who have taken this route is minimal. Private gold ownership, Pandora's box, or treasure chest. Okay, this advertisement comes from page 38. I thought it was interesting to see this, to show it to you. Genuine U.S. Mint coin dies. The actual dies used to make 1968 S-proof coinage legal to own as they were defaced at the mint. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean it got a scratch on it or something? Only 4,500 dies, only 4,500 were released, and no more will ever leave the mint. Only about 1,400 of them remain in stock. So that makes them pretty rare, doesn't it? Yeah, I would say. And so we're actually selling the actual proof dies from San Francisco to the public through New England rare coin galleries here. Well, got a question. How did all those dyes get from San Francisco to Massachusetts? Was that in a plane, a car, a truck, train? How did they get across the country? So many of them. For this guy here, I wonder if he knew somebody at the Mint, would you say? That's a big question. This comes from page 112. The South African Krugerrand gold coin is so popular at this writing that investors are paying a premium of 20% to 30% for the piece. For such a widely circulated coin with no numismatic value whatsoever, to have such a premium just doesn't make any sense, unless investors expect the price of gold to really hit the ceiling. So what are they going to do? Sell off all their Krugerrands? When the price goes up, then they don't have any gold. Once you have gold fever, you have to keep buying. So what are they going to do? Wait for the price of gold to go down again and then buy a bunch of them? Or are they going to wait for the price, they're going to sell what they have, reinvest it for less gold, and then hang on? That doesn't make any sense to me, regardless of what the price is. Will our Treasury dump some of its own gold on the market in order to hold down the price of bullion? I think not. They tried that once before in 1967 and 68 when 2.4 billion of U.S. gold was sold on the London market. Okay, so they sold $2.4 billion worth of U.S. gold on the London market in 67 and 68. So it's okay to sell it on the London market to world investors, but for some reason the American citizen is not allowed to purchase, own, or hoard bullion gold. Does that make sense? Now we're moving into March of 1975. Will 74 be frozen on quarters, halves, and dollars throughout the year? Boy, is that a question? What do you mean? This year is 1975. We're going to freeze it at 74? The date mix-up on the 1975 coins. The date mix-up. Now I want to take your attention to the cartoon over here. And you see here, there's 1974, 1975, and there's this little Igor right here opening the back door. And then you have this, what appears to be a mad scientist, but this has got to be, they're captioning there, perhaps an employee that works at the Mint or in the Treasury Department. You see he's got his machine here. He's got his machine. He's got this cable coming back over here into this mint smelter here. And then you got the light coming down here, zapping into this bowl over here, dripping stuff down. This is really a sardonic cartoon. You see his little switches here, and he's just jumping up. Look at the big glasses there. It's quite sardonic. Has the Mint found a way to freeze 1974 on our quarters, halves, and dollars? And right here we have the story. Quarters, half dollars, and dollars with 1974 dates will be struck during the first 3 months of 1975. That's the latest word from the Treasury Department and the Bureau of the Mint. I'm just going to scroll that down if anybody wants to read it until you get right here. COINage magazine first broke the story that no 1975 coins would be produced in its January 1975 issue, The Great Coin Gap, which I showed you. That story, based on investigative reporting, was written more than 2 weeks before Treasury Secretary William E. Simon, got Simon again, formally requested Congress to give him authority to produce 1974 dated coins throughout the 1975 calendar year. Under existing law, the Treasury Secretary has the authority to freeze the dates on coins when he finds it in the national interest and necessary to prevent a shortage of coins. Well, so if he can freeze them, he can unfreeze them. It doesn't matter. They can do whatever they want. And that's exactly what they do. They flip and flop around with the dates on the coins. We're going to see it here. Another breed of proof coins. Another breed of proof coins. The very old, this is quite informative. Now I'm doing proofs, gold proofs, gold certificate. We're going to be touching on several different subjects so that we can understand the point that I'm making. And it's going to take a long attention span to follow me through with this. Production of proof coins, specimen coins intended for collectors for presentation or for government exhibition, is as old as the creation of the United States Mint in Philadelphia in 1792. Coinage recognizable as proof by modern standards was not struck until 1817, shortly after the Philadelphia Mint purchased new machinery that allowed it to make multiple strikes while retaining the sharp detail and mirror-like surface characteristic of presentation coinage. Not until 1858 was proof coinage assembled into sets by the Mint for sale to the public. Between 1817 and 1857, however, individual sets were assembled for presentation purposes by the government and by some advanced collectors. In other words, you had to buy individual mints of the coins and put them together. And back then they had gold, silver, copper, everything. Okay, now here's the kicker. The 1804 silver dollar, the 1804 silver dollar proof was in fact originally struck in 1836 for use in a presentation set. See that? The 1804 silver dollar proof was originally struck in 1836. Well, how's the layman going to know this unless it's in print? Was this posted in the newspapers at that time? Huh? What we have here is a proof dollar that was minted, 32 years after it was actually, you got me, you cannot make this kind of stuff up. You cannot make it up. Just showing you how the Bureau of Printing and Engraving has been messing with the money, the coinage, for 200 years? Now this comes from the same article, page 74, same magazine. Gold coins were subsequently added to the list of mint products and were available either as a proof set or individually at 25 cents above face value. Cost of a proof set of gold coins containing the $1, the $2.50 piece, the $3, the $5, the $10, and the 20 double eagle was $43. $43 for a proof set of gold coins. Face value would be $41.50. So an extra $1.50 up to $43 would get you this gold proof set. $43, and now a proof set of this kind of coin from back then, that would run probably about $430,000. $430,000 if you could even find one. Boy, I bet a lot of coin collectors are crying in their beer now. Now let's go over here to staying on page 75. Secondarily, Early proof records, if they were exact, would be inaccurate because, wait, what? What did we just read there? Early proof records, if they were exact, would be inaccurate. You see that? Boy, is that a play on words or what? Because of the officially sanctioned restriking that went on into the early 1960s. Reason for the restrike program was for the mint to be able to trade scarce coins for other pieces, including Washington metals that it needed for its cabinet. So what are we saying here? Saying we can take any coin, warm it up, restamp it out into a proof, and make it whatever we want. Oh, let's restrike these, let's restrike those. And nobody even knows, nobody cares. The layman, he doesn't know. So they can they can make anything they want scarce. They can make as many of these scarce coins as they wanted. You can't make this up. Particularly scarce are those without hairlines, talking about the proof coins. Hairlines, little hairlines, resulting from poor die polishing. In recent years, the prices on the individual proofs as well as the sets have been rising. Without doubt, this is due to the acknowledgement by collectors of the relative scarcity of the coins and the sets, these proof sets. Well, all they got to do is tell them, oh yeah, these are scarce, and just keep pumping them out of the presses and the minting machines as many as they want. Just to tell the collector this is scarce, he's going to buy it right off the bat. Individual proof prices. You have the dates over here, denomination, the 1967 price, and 7 years later, 1974. Look at how these jumped. Here's one that doubled. Here's one that tripled. This one right here went over 6 times. This one went, what, 4 times? Here's one that went 4 times. Look here, this one here doubled. The 1985 dollar proof, $9,000, doubled in price in just 7 years. Says who? I'm now picking up on page 78, same book, same article, and we're going to look at it here. By 1974 and into 1975, one of the key sets has become the 1895, virtually unrecognized in 1906. The key coin of this scarce set, scarce gold proof set, the proof $1895 in and of itself, a $9,000 coin. This is all gold. This is gold. Okay, well, now, if they're all sold in the set, how come the $1 all of a sudden becomes $9,000, and the quarter eagle, the half eagle, the eagle, the $3 piece, and the double eagle, they don't come anywhere near that? So if they're all sold together, how come, who says that this $1 coin is worth more than all the rest of them? Old-time proof sets, old-time gold proof sets. Same page, same article. Prices advanced at extraordinary levels. Individual proof coins manufactured before 1916, scarce, eye-pleasing, but still available at reasonable prices within most budgets. Well, what? I just showed you that the $1 is worth $9,000. Well, it's a good thing you might not want 10 of them. That'd be 90,000. If you wanted 100 of them, that'd be, what, $1 million? The $1, is this a reasonable price? I'm just asking. Now, spoiler alert. I'm going to be following this thread up to June of 2018. Now, I'm going to just speculate here for a second. If the price of gold went to $3,500 an ounce, well, naturally, everybody that's got any gold at all would sell it. Okay, they would sell their gold at $3,500 an ounce. But that would stimulate so many people to start mining, that with the mining companies, there would be such an onslaught and a bulk of gold mined that the market would be flooded. The market would be flooded. And this is why I feel that the price of gold just fluctuates. As soon as it goes up, people start getting it, and then they get so much of it. And there is nothing more important than protecting a gold mine or the price of gold. And which we're going to get into who actually states what the price of gold is. Who says that? Who says that gold spot is $1,200 in the morning? And I'm going to prove to you, spoiler alert, that there is no more fiat money than gold. Gold is an imaginary money. And I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to show it to you. Your gold is only worth whatever somebody's going to pay for it on a local scale. And I have seen so many gold collectors, and I asked them, I said, how is the ownership of gold, bullion, and gold coins, how is that a hedge against inflation? So some individual gold collector, he's going to hedge against the inflation of the world or of the country. Yeah, that is all a mindset that is implanted. It's all a mindset that is implanted, and they implant it by doing stuff like this table right here. And we're going to see an article here on page 80, America's Illegal Coin, because I feel it's important for you to see this for yourself so that you can kind of see where this is going concerning debauchery and fraud. Let's call it what it is, debauchery and fraud. And I'm going to put this puzzle together for you here, and I'm going to bring it up into modern times. And because we're going to follow this through a couple of decades here. America's Illegal Coin, but it should actually be America's Illegal Coins with an S there. Should actually have an S. Outlawed with the 1933 gold ban, these double eagles still flew the mint. Oh, the eagles themselves developed wings and flew the mint? Not exactly. Another article by David Gans, and David Gans, he had articles in every issue. Every issue I've got, he's got articles in there. And we're just mentioning here, going to touch here, King Farouk of Egypt owned one piece, and so did an American collector. Okay, well there's two that we have there, but we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. King Farouk comes up later. And here we have scarcest of the gold pieces struck in the United States Mint is a coin not quite 43 years old, a coin of mystery and excitement with few rivals. Nearly 500,000 of the pieces were struck. None were ever issued for circulation. Remember that. None were ever issued for circulation. So why does this question come up later? I don't know. But here we go. Somehow, several specimens left the mint in Philadelphia, perhaps in the dead of night. So how did Gans know that? Why would he mention that? Perhaps in the dead of night. If it leaves the mint in the dead of night, well, how does he know this? History of this mysterious gold piece is intimately tied to the economic and political history of the United States during the New Deal. The coin is the 1933 $20 piece, and the only specimens that are now legally owned are two in the National Coin Collection located in the Smithsonian. On March 6, President Roosevelt, in office just 2 days, issued Proclamation 2039 declaring a banking holiday and simultaneously prohibiting the hoarding of gold coins. It portended bigger things to come, which would include the virtual demonetization of gold and the recall and mass melting of more than $1 billion in face value United States gold coinage. That same day, the Secretary of the Treasury issued instructions to both the Treasurer of the United States and the Director of the Mint prohibiting payments in gold or gold certificates out of the Treasury except pursuant to license granted by the Executive Department. Whatever that means. Whatever that means. In the comments that he wrote to accompany the second volume of his public papers, Roosevelt noted the success of the ban on gold bullion and gold hoarding, coin hoarding, between March 4th and March 15th, 1933, 370 million in gold coins and certificates were returned to the Treasury. At the end of that initial critical period, March 15, 1933, 9 days after the Roosevelt Proclamation and less than a week after Congress had passed the Emergency Banking Act that was requested by the President to ratify his actions, Treasury officials felt the situation had calmed enough to order striking of gold coinage at the Philadelphia Mint. So what? Were they doing this behind the President's back? What were they doing? Did they have another idea in mind? So it just seems like a little odd that he would do, right after Roosevelt declared that it was illegal to do, they started, what, a month and a half later, they started production on the big double eagle designed more than a quarter century before the St. Gaudens began. By the time that the production run for the year was completed on May 19, a grand total, get this now, 445,000 pieces had been produced. And this was when gold was rated at $20 an ounce. Remember that. And this brought the value of the dollar of the actual piece down, what, one thousandth of a cent of its face value. Oh, can't have that. We can't have that in America. No, 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 no. We can't have that. On April 3rd, 1933, now some of these dates may be a little confusing. You're just going to have to follow with it because I know where this is all going. We're going to be showing you some cool stuff here. Even as the Philadelphia Mint continued to strike the double eagles bearing that year's date, Roosevelt issued another executive order, number 6102. This, he commented in his public papers, requires all persons to deliver to one of the Federal Reserve Banks their gold coins, except that both scarce and unusual gold coin and common specimens up to $100 in value could be withheld. Wow! Okay, in Philadelphia, from each batch of double eagles produced, one specimen is set aside for the purpose. And then here's what they had, is that was the law, that they had 29 batches, a total of 29 double eagles with the 1933 date were reserved for this purpose of assaying. The balance upon completion of the production run, some 445,469 were placed in mint vaults under their distribution. Well, there we already have, from 500, we've got several missing here. Oh, so what they're saying is, well, I'll show you where the two extras are here in a bit. The authorization never came for their distribution. Let you look at this. No one to this day has ever publicly said precisely how specimens of the 1933 double eagle $20 piece left the mint. And it's pretty obvious from this article. We're going to see some more of it, and then I will explain it to you. I will mansplain it to you exactly how these left the mint. By the first day of May 1933, all gold in the United States, with the exception of scarce and unusual coin, was in the hands of the government. This neatly set the stage for the nationalization of gold, which Treasurer Henry Morgenthau did administratively on December 28, 1933, and Congress formally approved of in the passage of the Gold Reserve Act of 1934. The Gold Reserve Act, President Roosevelt wrote in a note explaining it, abolished gold coin as a component of our monetary system and provided that no gold coin should be issued in the future. With the passage of that act, the 1933 double eagles, still in the vaults of the Philadelphia Mint, had their fate sealed. They had their fate sealed. Well, was that like in sealed sacks going out the back door? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We're going to scroll down here. Exactly 29 double eagles with their 1933 were taken from sealed containers, counted, and a sample selected for testing. Scroll on down here. We're going to just scroll on. I'm going to mind my own business and just scroll on down here. Same article by Gans. No one has ever been able to determine precisely how the 1933 double eagle left the mint, or how many did leave. See, he's in the know. He's in the know. He knows it's a lot more than 29. Did a mint employee make a substitution? Well, yes, because Gans knows. An assay commissioner take a souvenir? No, he took thousands. Or were some of the coins accidentally released into circulation? Well, in the same article, he states clearly at the beginning that there were none in circulation. So why is he asking this? This is obvious that he's just pulling somebody's leg here. And notice that he actually has the editors of the magazine, I'm sure it wasn't Gant's fault, they actually have a question mark here after a question. The year 1934 was an unusual one, however, the Assay Commission met for 2 successive days instead of usual 1, blah, blah, wolf, wolf. Security procedures in effect at, next page, or actually just the same page, no, this next page here, at the Mint now do not call for the searching of any of the commissioners. And it is highly unlikely that the presidential appointees then were subject to inspection either. So what we're saying here is that the people in charge are free from investigation. Searching of any of the commissioners was prohibited, and so were the appointees of the president. That is just so true. And this is printed in 1975 about what happened in 1933. Another possibility of how the coins left the mint. Well, what have you got to say, Gans? Is that mint employees made a substitution. There you go. Innocent or not? What? Innocent or not? Well, it was obviously not innocent, but he has to put this here. Innocent or not, because he is a member of the fraternity. From either the massive stockpile of 445,000 that were in vaulted storage, or from the 29 specimens set aside for the assay. Well, how about both? How about both? Well, I'm just saying. If this course was in fact taken, there never could have been a discovery. Okay, so what does that mean? That simply means that there would have been no one to be able to question these guys. They were supposed to be upboard. When the order came to melt the 1933 double eagles, they were weighed on a quantity basis. The manner that the Mint employs for all large operations. Well, see how well he's tied in. See how well he's tied in. And to get these numbers, melting statistics for fiscal year 1934 show that over 1 million in double eagles were melted. Doesn't say what year though. Some of the 1934 meltings undoubtedly were the 1933 double eagles being held in the vaults. Well, how does he know that? During fiscal year 1935, however, 787 million in $20 gold pieces, double eagles, were melted. And it seems likely that the bulk of them were destroyed in the melting period, July the 1st, 1934 to June the 30th, 1935. Okay, so it took them a year there to melt all that. And so what are they going to do? They turned them all into bricks. Okay? One final possibility remains, and this would be that some were accidentally put into circulation. But he just said, in 3 or 4 pages, columns before this, that they were not put in circulation. Thus, for all practical purposes, we must conclude that the means by which the 1933 double eagles left the Philadelphia Mint were not entirely above board. Well, haven't you said that like 14 times so far? For more than a decade, however, the coin was all but forgotten except in catalogs. The 1938 Waite Raymond, now remember, I introduced you to Waite Raymond in 1939. Standard catalog list from the 1938, the 33 double eagle, places a dash next from page 82, spot where its value is supposed to be listed. Places a dash there. Presumably this meant either that it was quite scarce and placing a price upon it would be difficult. We're just going to scroll down here. And so here we're starting to see how some of these coins, even though they're just absolutely mundane, but the price starts on certain ones, just starts shooting through the roof. There was a market for the 1933 double eagle. There was a market for it. But it was an underground one. Well, how does he know that? If only 29 left, he's saying that, oh, possibly only 20. I'm saying that probably over 45,000 of them left. And we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Collectors presumably treated the coin as they had other clandestine pieces that had come from the mint over the years. What? There were other clandestine pieces? Well, of course. The mint's been pushing stuff out the back door for 200 years. They assumed that with the passing of time, all would be forgiven and forgotten. The guess was dead wrong. Next, same page. Both Barnard and Bell were collectors of scarce and unusual coin. These guys were getting busted for their currency and coinage. The basic requirement of the Roosevelt decrees for gold ownership. And they were members of the American Numismatic Association. That proves it. An educational nonprofit group of coin collectors who were members of the fraternity to prove it. Same page. As to how the coin left the mint, Judge Boyd speculated that it is a fair inference that the double eagle here involved was taken out of the mint in an unlawful manner. Oh, well, there's somebody calling it out. There's someone calling it out, aren't they? I would say. Same page. Some 7 years passed. another specimen surfaced at the auction sale of the coin collection of King Farouk, the deposed king of Egypt. That would have been in 1952, 53-ish or so, because King Farouk collected coins, and he had a 1933 double eagle in his set. How did it get to Egypt? How did King Farouk get one of these illegal United States American coins? How did he get one? And I'm going to go ahead and spoil some of that for you. Is it surfaced again in 1996 and was auctioned off for $7 million. So that's why only a few of these are going to start coming into light in the next 50, 60 years, because they've got several thousands of them. And if they just released all of them into the public, well, even though it's gold, this one got $7 million. Well, they're going to find another, then another, then another, and get up to like 29, and then all of a sudden they can flood the market with them. The Chinese can flood the market with them and sell them for way above premium. I'm just speculating here. I'm predicting the future. I'm predicting the future. Now, same article we're going to pick up on page 104. The 1933 $20 piece. A coin of mystery and excitement. Excitement. This is how nerds in the numismatic world get excited. Tens of thousands minted, more than 400,000 pieces melted. How many managed to survive? With a question mark. The coins left the mint clandestinely, or did they? Why don't we have a question mark there? That's real bad punctuation. Okay. Was a substitution made? Of course. Or were they accidentally released into circulation? No, question mark. See, I can't get away with this kind of stuff. If it was accidental, who helped? No, question mark. All the elements of a detective mystery. Half sentence. You alone must consider the whys and the wherefores and derive your own conclusions. Well, my conclusion is there are a bunch of shysters at the mint, and they were just shoveling them out the back door with hand trucks, forklifts, whatever, to their friends. And their friends in the fraternity, their friends in the brotherhood, the friends that were in all of the same mindset. And is it going on today? Well, it's not. We don't have, so much gold coinage today. It's a lot more regulated. So, did Roosevelt know all this was happening in the first place? Who knows?